Is she sexual-fied, satisfied sexually? Satisfying your significant other is important for both men and women, but most men especially define their own egos on just how happy they can make the woman they really love and care for. Not just shown through appreciation, compliments, and gifts, but with sexual pleasure also. A woman being satisfied outside the bedroom is vital, but in the bedroom means that her needs, wants, and desires is also being fulfilled. And to know that a man's woman sees him in that special light will make the sexual experiences heighten, happier, and deepen the intimacy. What exactly does sexual satisfaction mean? Most men just think it means his woman is receiving consistent climaxes through every sexual experience is a big indicator that she's delighted and very pleased. And that makes her constantly look forward to ripping his clothes off every time she sees him and getting him in the bed. That is a very big piece to the puzzle, but not the whole piece to the puzzle to make it completed. Just like there are many pieces to a puzzle when it comes to maintaining strong and solid cooperation, communication, and being mindful of your woman, there are still many key ingredients that contribute to her level of satisfaction. First off, it means that you're giving her the kind of sexual pleasure her mind and body desires. It also indicates that she appreciates you taking out the time to focus, learn, and understand her body completely. Because by you fully understanding her body, it takes you much deeper than just penetration. By you fully understanding her body, it takes you much deeper than just penetration. The key arsenal of weapon is variation, not stagnation. Variation is creativity, unpredictability, always switching up things and never repeating the same moves twice. Stagnation is constantly repeating the same moves that she will memorize and anticipate. Being predictable is a bedroom killer. Stagnation is constantly repeating the same moves that she will memorize and anticipate. Being predictable is a bedroom killer. Variation is figuring out what physical touches, caresses, kisses, colorful words of stimulation and substance, skillful movements, consistency in the proper rhythm that will make her body, which is a volcano, to erupt with pleasure. The longer you go on a journey inside of her mind and body, your education evolves. The dedication to the time it takes to make her moan, those sexy sounds of submission, that ooh and ah, those are just sexy sounds of submission, will take her places she's never been before, and that is something that'll stay firmly concreted inside of her mentally, psychologically. This will even encourage her to even more to return that favor for you. Satisfying your woman mentally and physically with pleasure in and outside the bedroom means that you fully understand her intimate, unique details, and that she feels like you make it a priority to get her to the pinnacle level of pleasure. The pinnacle level of pleasure. Sign she's sexual-fied. She constantly makes eye contact. You might be turned on by her fit stomach, or how fit her stomach is, her perky titties, or her nicely shaped round bottom. But when you really and truly love someone and feel connected to them on a very intimate level, her eyes will often become a body part that turns you on deeply. Deeply. Staring into each other's eyes not only builds a stronger connection, but it can be a very intense way to make love and to watch for her signals of sexual fulfillment. You can gauge what's going on in her head when you look into her eyes while exchanging sexual pleasure. The eyes do not lie. You can gauge her fulfillment just off of her eyes. Number 2, she is satisfied when her moans, screams, and hollering is involuntary. Watching porn is one thing. Most of those women are screaming at the top of their lungs to put on a show, and that brings the viewers into those sex scenes, which makes it more exciting to watch. Real life sexual experiences are much different. That's actually a good thing to capitalize on because the more genuine, the better. Instead of the impressive ending to the performance, listen to her involuntary noises from start to finish that she displays conspicuously, clearly, during foreplay and throughout intercourse. Oh yeah. Let's get deep with it. Her moans, groans, screams, and hollering. Sexy sounds of submission is great feedback. That gives you clear signals as her vocals intensify. When you kiss the side of her neck or gently nibble on her earlobe, you will feel her tense up and grab a hold of you. And if you're playing around in her pleasure spot and she sounds like she's only responding for your effect, It's time for variation. Move on to another part of her body that will get her more turned on, around her vulva, nipples, clit, and her thighs. Number 3, one big sign to let you know if she's satisfied, sexual-fied, if she's letting herself go mentally and physically. That's the best part too. She relaxed, comfortable. You know what I'm saying? That's very important, man. That's very important to get her the climax. Her being fully relaxed in bed is crucial. It's something that comes with a lot of patience and practice. Familiarity is different than predictability. Being familiar with your partner is when you have knowledge of them, not staying stagnant. A good sign that she's enjoying herself is when she's letting herself go, her thoughts, frustrations, worries, and hesitations. When she's under your control. So you got her under control when she ain't thinking about, her job, what's going on, with her day. Because, man, what I'm telling you, when you can get her to focus on the moment and the sensations and the pleasure, woo, man, come on now. A good sign that she's enjoying herself is when she's letting herself go, her thoughts, frustrations, worries, and hesitations. When she's under your control, you're doing a good job then. A way to notice if this is working is to listen to her breathing. If her breathing intensifies, that's the easiest thing to be aware of and a great way to observe where she's at. As her pleasure escalates, so will her breathing rate. As her pleasure escalates, so will her breathing rate. When she's really into it, her breaths will eventually shorten and get quicker. That's when you know. Listen to how she breathing, player. Listen to the way she's breathing, man. That tells you everything. The eyes, the short breaths, man. Is she focused, man? Get her focused, man. Get her focused, man. Her parasympathetic nervous system, man, needs to be relaxed. Number 4, she's satisfied if she's starting off sex sometimes and not waiting on you. Here we go. In relationships, the key is oftentimes it needs balance. Let me go back. In relationships, the key is oftentimes it needs balance. Instead of waiting on one partner to initiate something, both partners have to make efforts to get things started. Ooh, let's go. A woman who's happy sexually will not all the time, but sometimes, if not directly, indirectly, demonstrate to her man that she wants him. She'll dress up in some new lingerie, take a shower with him, pour on her affection towards him, fill on him in the car while he's driving. Text him she wants him or tells him she wants him. That thirst to be with you means she's most definitely enjoying herself and that she desires his affectionate touches. If she is arching her back when you touch her in certain places, using your hands to help guide you while caressing her womanly curves, holding onto your neck or gripping your back while you're on top of her, that speaks volumes about her satisfaction. Is she satisfied sexually? Sexual-fied. And I'll add this one, players. When she get to a point where just the thought of you, or just the thought of your hands is touching her, that means she is satisfied. That means she desires you and wants you a lot. Just the thought of you touching her, like you ain't even around her, like you at work, you out of town, whatever, you ain't around, you with your boys, and she by herself, and whatever. But just the thought of you makes her want to touch herself. That's when you know she's satisfied, players. When she go to fingering herself, with just a thought of your touch, like just when she just thinking about you even touching her, she started touching herself. She started touching herself, started fingering herself, playing with her nipples, rubbing her nipples, playing with her breasts, rubbing her own thighs, just thinking about you rubbing her. She started rubbing herself. Woo! That's when it's pleasure, baby. Hey, she's satisfied. She really enjoy your sex. Just the thought of you making her want to touch herself, finger her, play with her nipples, rub herself, rub her thighs. Yes, indeed. All right, players. Is she sexual-fied, satisfied sexually?